How you guys doing? This is Omari. I'm still here at Retrocon. I finally was able to track this man down, the elusive, the mysterious Dan Larson of Toy Galaxy. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
More importantly, thank you for coming to the show. And finally, I'm really excited to have you here because your channel, Toy Galaxy, is amazing.
Thank you.
All the reviews are straight to the point, precise, and responsible.
Responsible. Oh, that's a new one. That's a new critique for the show. But I think I know what you're talking about as far as like being clear about sort of what we're trying to say, about being positive, about having fun, because it's all toys and action figures and stuff. And that's what we're really trying to communicate with everything that we do, is just having fun with this stuff. And that's how we try to connect with the audience.
You guys connect very well. I love watching your videos. One of my favorite episodes was your Mask episode. Another one was Centurions and Thundercats. I love those shows, and I love the review that you gave them. Those episodes to me are amazing.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Those, I hope it comes through in the videos that those are some of my favorite lines as well. And those are lines that I can speak to, my personal experience. Everything we cover, I haven't necessarily owned all of those things. So sometimes I have to do some research and say, like, what is it about this line that people really like? What is it that they connected to? But Sectars, Masks, Centurions, GoBots, all that stuff, that's all stuff that I actually owned. And I have my own personal stories of joy and heartbreak and loss and all those sorts of things that I can actually, communicate in the videos, and people like you, people like your audience can share as well.
Yeah, definitely. I want to know, how did you start your journey reviewing toys? Like, what was the first American toy you owned, and also what was the first Japanese toy that you owned?
As far as my personal collection, the first U.S. toy would have been something a long time ago, probably a Star Wars figure. We've got some photos. There's not as many photos of me as a kid as there are of the kids who are kids now. There's limited exposure of me with, pictures of toys that I actually had. So as far as action figures go, it's probably vintage Star Wars stuff. Japanese, we moved to Japan in 1980. So it would have been something like either Gundam or Muta-King. I don't know if you know this one. There's definitely pictures of me with some Muta-King stuff, or Kamen Rider Super 1, which would have been that's my Kamen Rider, and everything gets measured against that now. He's the one with the frills on his gloves, silver and black with the red eyes and the white motorcycle. It would have been something like one of those. I don't remember exactly which specific toy was first, because I was only like 6 years old.
Wow, that's amazing. Was your parents, they were in the military?
That's exactly correct. Yep. My father was in the Navy, so we ended up getting stationed over there for 3 years. And at the time when you're a kid like that, you don't really know what that means. You don't even really know what it means to be going to another country, to be living outside of the place where you were born, all those sorts of things. But looking back on it now, I can see the value in what it meant to be able to grow up for a few years at that age, where your memories are just starting off, and to be exposed to those kinds of toys and those kinds of TV programs, as well as the stuff that was U.S., because you've got, the Navy is broadcasting U.S. TV shows over there. So I'm seeing both of these cultures at the same time, and it's all the same stuff. Superheroes, robots, Spider-Man, everything. So it's all good, and it's all the same thing to me. And again, that's what sort of pushes me on this toy collecting and comic books and this YouTube thing that we're doing.
Cool, man. Did you get to learn any Japanese, or you only just spoke English?
Yeah, very, very little, because when you over there, the way we were, as far as being part of a military family, you end up in a lot of English-speaking places. You're very rarely in a place where you have to not speak English. So it would have been like the numbers, hello, goodbye, those kinds of things. Definitely nothing that I would have actually needed to learn. I regret that. At that age, it's easier to learn a foreign language than it is now. So now I'm like, God, I wish I'd spent the last 30 years learning how to speak Japanese. But it is what it is. You can't change that.
So, since you're the head of the Toy Galaxy, do you have any plans to film an episode in Japan?
That'd be fun. That would be great. We don't have any plans to do that. Aspirations is probably a better word. We would love to be able to travel somewhere like that. It'd have to be the kind of situation where we got invited, somebody invited us to go over, because we're only a two-person team, myself and producer Greg. But there's no way that we would right now budget for doing something like that. And not just budget in terms of money, but budget in terms of time, because for us, our schedule is the most important thing. You know, YouTube is a very demanding thing. You have to constantly put that content out. You don't want to miss your schedule. You don't want to miss your weekly hits, and that's more important to us. So if we were going to take a trip like that, do something, you know, big and exceptional, we'd have to like build up a bank of videos so that we had no interruptions whatsoever.
That's cool, man. Well, I hope your aspiration does come true. And I hope to see, you know, you're at one of those Tokyo toy fairs.
Me too.
And you get to speak to the engineers, the actual engineers that design the toys, and listen to their thoughts and everything.
Absolutely.
I was wondering if you ever got to interview any toy designers, like from Japan at least.
Not really. I've met some people in the U.S. You know, Marauder Task Force, Boss Fight Studios. Those guys are also on the East Coast, like we are, and they end up at a lot of these kinds of shows. So I've had the opportunity to talk to some of those guys, but the bigger sort of designers, and especially the older ones from the vintage toy lines and things, I haven't really had many opportunities to talk to those kinds of people. But the more we do this, the more we start to make connections with those kinds of folks, and the more we can have those opportunities to reach out and ask those kinds of questions.
All right. That's great, man. Great. Since we're here at Retrocon, what's your next tour date? Like, what's your next con you're going to?
I may be at New York Comic Con. If I do, that's just as an attendee. That's not like we don't have a booth or anything for that. And then beyond that, I'm not really sure, honestly. We'll see what the rest of the year looks like, and maybe, who knows, next year is all wide open.
Okay, that's great, man. You know, I love your channel. I love the passion you guys have for toys. You know, I wish I had that same passion. My passion right now is just meeting people that I've always wanted to meet, talk to them, spend a little time, take that off my bucket list, and keep moving.
Awesome. Well, you're passionate about it, and it shows. Good job.
I know. Wow. Ever thought about creating your own toys?
It's definitely something I've thought about. The show itself right now is sort of that creative fulfillment that I need and that I want, and it takes up all of my time, so it's not something that's, you know, front-end priority, need to get it done right now. But as we start to make these connections around the industries and stuff, those opportunities start to come about, and it becomes a more realistic thing that we could do that if we decide to pursue it.
All right. Well, I hope to see you come up with your own action figures in the future. Maybe a video game or two.
We'll see.
Hell, even a movie.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Well, Dan, thank you so much for spending time with me, and thank you for the interview.
Excellent.
You know, may the blessings continue.
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.